Lake Tana, and it's called the Blue Nile. The Blue Nile and the White Nile flowing down north, not down south. We're not here. We are in Africa, and north is the lowland, south is the highland, and it flows down north and merge, both rivers merge at a place called Khartoum in Sudan. A third body of water out of the Ethiopian highland, called the Atbara River, flows down north and merges with the two bodies of water that had merged already and formed just the plain Nile, which continues north into ancient Nubia, from there into ancient Egypt, through Egypt, and empties in the Great Sea, now called the Mediterranean. So in his description of where he came from, Ethiopians, Egyptians, Nubians, and others, he made that very clear. But in making that clear, in all of the stations they made, and speaking about certain very important traditions of the trilogy, it was necessary to make those stations very clear. Thus, when some of you talk about going to take bones out of the earth at a certain place across the fence in Ethiopia, you must remember that the three men of the three names were not from Ethiopia, but had gone to Ethiopia to evade the behavior as some wrongful brothers. When they went to Ethiopia, they did not go to Ethiopia with the Western title of 33 degrees symbolic of the life of Jesus. Now let's face it, where the 33 comes from. A circle is not made of 33 degrees. It is made of 360 degrees, and each quarter of the circle is 90. And you will have to go to Meroe to go to the second quarter. You see, at home we are not allowed to put an electric cord in the socket and then walk on the produce of that electric cord. We have to go to Meroe, a place called Meroe. And heaven knows it's hell to get to Meroe, because you're going there in a British Jeep, and there's no road. When you drive back 5 minutes, the track is gone, and you got to know, I have to carry somebody who knows just where to go, otherwise you could be there driving around for a few days, or maybe forever. And you then go and you walk on the hot grass. And I'm saying hot grass to make you feel good, but there's no grass there. You're going to walk in the hot sun. And when you have walked enough, I've got elder men in here, when you've walked enough and are almost exhausted, then somebody sees one of the 44 pyramids in Sudan. Nobody tells us there's Sudan, right? When last did you hear there are pyramids in Sudan? Take my words, there are. I've been there a number of times, and I've needed the podiatrist when I return. But there is that hot sand in which you walk. There was no Solomon when they built the first pyramid. There was no Abraham, the first of the Hebrews. And I'm not saying that for joke. I was born in the Hebrew religion, and I let it go. Because you cannot tell me lies and expect me to continue to lie because I'm a member of the group. It is incumbent upon me to change the lie, if it's possible, or get rid of it completely. Because the integrity of the African person is that of the deity. I said before that it's going to be difficult to give this lecture. It is difficult because I am speaking to a house of my people. And I understand the significance of the words I used. So I need to document a little further. I am quite respectful of the men, the honorable men, the man whose body and soul went on, his car and his back went on to the next world, who laid down his life for me and others like me, when he took upon himself a rights passed on from the British Crown to him who had come from Barbados to Philadelphia, and then dealt with others, included Washington, who I have no respect for. You see, when a man exchanged any member of my family for molasses, for their being slaves, how can I respect them? You don't know if a European having respect for Hitler. Now, how should I have respect for a man that treats me like Hitler treats people? Unless you don't have any respect for me yourself. So I don't have any respect, but I'm talking about a man that you pay honor, most reverent honor, in this institution. I'm speaking at this brother in context for what he meant for me and others. I have read carefully his background both in war and outside of war, and his relationship in the United States of America, or what turned out to be the United States of America. Thus, I understand that man. I understand that he was trying to do the best. It put me in the mind of when the brother from the Virgin Islands came here, Dr. Blyden, Dr. Edward Widmore Blyden. When Dr. Blyden came here to Atlanta, ATC, the religious institution there, you should read what Dr. Blyden said, and you would vomit. You would get sick. But you have to remember that Dr. Blyden had just come here from the United States, what was the Danish Virgin Islands, which later became the United States Virgin Islands, and he was repeating what he had been taught without any other experience. You read the same Dr. Blyden's work a number of years later when he had stopped being the president of the College of Liberia, and you see two different people completely. In the first case, you are seeing a little slave with a slave mind. In the second case, you are seeing the slave who had dropped his slavishness, become an African man, and spoke as an African man. It is Blyden is the one who had given us the term, what does the European have that the African woman have to take as a model for her beauty? The question, of course, was answered itself, and the answer was nothing. Back to the Masonic principle. It is in this context, then, that Imhotep laid down the value of the Masonic principles. Masonic principles. And the first principle he dealt with is the concept of the one and only deity. We talk about the one and only deity in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and there still is no one and only deity. We said the God above all other gods. For I am a jealous God. Akhenaten said, there is only one God, and his name is